videos, or is it not possible to do that?
Once they're downloaded, you can edit them, but live, no, it's impossible. It's like trying to edit time. You know, you have to, if you get the recording downloaded, you should be able to get it. All right. I think our stream is live now.
Okay.
I'm
just looking at it as a non-logged in YouTube viewer, and it's not there yet.
It's coming.
Okay. Yeah, because there's that like 10-second delay.
Yeah, it is. I have to turn off if you have the live stream going on your system, please turn down the sound. Mute it. If
I know.
Yes, not our other people might be trying it and they shouldn't do that. So I think the live stream is live. So I can, I still see Bob Chico's ellipses doing this. Like,
the dancing ellipses.
Yeah, it's like the fingers when you're tapping on a desk, you know, it's like, well, whatever. Hey,
Maybe,
Todd, I just saw you.
How you doing, Kurt?
Get out.
It's been a while, man. Been a while.
It's been a while. It's been a while. I'm sorry, Robbie. What were you saying?
Maybe he should get out and go back in.
Well, maybe I would bounce him. He's not showing a video feed either. So I think we're just gonna remove him.
Somebody told me to download it.
Chico, you're being removed.
There's nothing saying, at least we assume it's him.
It could be an imposter.
These things happen, you know, everything is fake these days, right? Okay. So sorry about that, friends. Anyway, channel's open.
Did you ever have a Zoom bomber?
No. Have you ever had that experience?
Yes. I was on an open mic, weekly open mic at the Ugly Mug, 2 poetry idiots in Orange County. And a few weeks ago, and we had a Zoom bomber. And the host just shut him up.
Oh, so what happened?
The host just shut him up and bounced him.
Oh, good.
Yeah. But it also happened at my synagogue that they had a meeting and a neo-Nazi came in there.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That was disturbing, I imagine. But they got rid of him. But nobody wanted to have the meeting after that. They were all too upset.
So I'm not seeing it yet on YouTube.
It is live. I've seen it.
Yeah, are you? Gee, I wonder what I'm doing wrong.
I don't know.
Because it definitely said it was live.
Yeah, it says it's live.
I saw Robbie talking like with the proverbial 15-second delay. So I know it's out there and going.
I can't hear you, Nina.
I'm not saying anything.
Oh, your
I
mouth.
was just going to ask you guys, this is a rare event.
Uh-huh. You're frozen now.
Now we really can't see Nina because she froze and she's silent.
It's a rare event that Nina stopped talking.
Yeah. So are all of you out of Chicago?
Most of us are. We've been spreading our wings, so to speak, to let people know that we can do this from other parts. We did have a couple of people. Al, didn't somebody join us from Vancouver? Al has also frozen, I'm noticing. And now he's gone away. Oh my God, this is bizarre. Well, we'll see what happens with the network.
Sort of unpredictable.
It is. It definitely is.
I just learned how to make a video with sharing the screen.
Oh.
Today. I learned how to do that for Wednesday night poetry, and that goes out of Arkansas.
You get around the country quite a lot. I'm impressed.
I know a lot of people.
Apparently so.
I wish I was popular.
Well, if you edited an anthology, I've edited 3 now. If you edit one, you'll probably pick up some friends.
That's how it
Ah.
works.
Some poets who want me to publish them in the next anthology.
What's
All the
your-
pandemic has really taught me is that I'm really antisocial because my life has not been impacted at all.
A lot of people say that. Mine certainly has. I'm writing a lot more because I don't have anything else to do.
So I ended up frozen there, or all the rest of you got frozen. And did that happen to you, Al?
Yeah. Yes.
But there were 3 of us left who weren't frozen, and we were looking at the 2 of you who were frozen.
Then I signed off and signed back on.
That's probably the best way to get it fixed. If you sort of bring everything down and then start again, and you can be
Right.
good.
So
Wait, could you send me a link to the live field at the Heldt71@gmail address? I've got tech issues here, and I'm trying to post this to people who want to watch.
So the link to
The live feed, yeah.
the live feed is let me send that to you.
Thank you so much. Oh, fuck. I mean, darn.
It's okay. We're all big. We're all big people here. We're all grown-ups.
depends what you mean.
Well, maybe by numbers.
Mhm. I'm 4'10", so
Oh,
Yay.
What was that radio show out of Northeastern where they censored us?
oh God! They were in the basement of the college radio
And they were,
station
yeah.
there, weren't
That
they?
guy's
And
name.
like,
He was
and Charlie was with some woman whose name I don't know, and she said, "Bunk off," and it sounded an awful lot like the F word.
Yeah.
And they had all chastised
Well.
me about saying "son of a bitch" or something like that in one of my poems.
Really?
Yeah, like we're like a family station or something. I don't know.
Well, they don't want to host poetry events then.
Mm.
Todd, what's your email address? I can't find it.
It's THELDT71@gmail.com.
Okay. I hope this link works because it's still not showing up live on my computer.
It is out there.
I believe you, but I don't know what I'm
Truth is out there.
There.
Huh, why is this not? Wait a minute. Let's see. Is this?
Todd, I just sent you the link, at least what I think is the link.
I found the
Okay.
live page where I was
There we
watching
go,
the
there we
stream
go.
and put that on my Facebook link. So
I know it's me doing something wrong, but
well, you'll be able to watch it, Al, once it's done.
I know. I'm not, I just wanted to double check it, but as
Yeah.
long as you're sure it's working, I'm trusting you that you know.
Well, I would be seeing it delayed if it weren't going. So that's,
Good.
It's the way that we've seen it in the past. So
Do you know if I'll be reading at 7 or?
No, you won't. It's like a regular, let me get back there. It's like a regular open mic in
Okay.
that, we'll start with people in our open mic and then we'll take a quick break and then you'll come on at probably around 8:10 and then you'll do 10 minutes and then Danny will do 20 minutes and we will gab to whatever degree that we can. Seems like the last
Okay.
couple of months I've had something to ask people so that we could chat about stuff, but I can't think of anything like that.
Oh, I think with the last 24 hours in the city of Chicago, you'll have plenty to talk about whether you want to do it online or not.
What happened?
Oh, it's been wicked. We just went through a derecho,
Oh,
which is, you know what that is,
some
Robbie?
kind of storm.
Yeah, think of it as a hurricane, but it's all lined up in one direction and it runs over you in the span of about an hour.
Boy.
So so it's not to be compared exactly with a hurricane, but it's that kind of wind, and we got it.
Yeah.
And so everything blew around, and then we had looting and rioting in the streets last night. So
Anything in particular?
the Magnificent Mile got ransacked.
No,
The
I
Apple
mean,
Store.
Yeah.
no, I
Lord-
mean, what was the reason to which it was attributed?
they vary. Some
Black
people,
Lives Matter, or
well, that was proffered as
Excuse.
one reason, but many people are denying that was so, and that a lot of the people who went out to do the looting apparently had been prompted from social media, and it's wicked. It's really wicked. You want to rely on social media and your friends, but also
you can't.
you may not be able to. And there was, I think, cause to prompt it, but I don't think I don't believe in that kind of action.
It doesn't seem to have, just based on what I was reading, it doesn't seem that there was any real protest that was being talked about or encouraged. It was just, come, let's have a looting caravan.
Yeah, and yet it was very organized, and it was known that people had been. There are witnesses that have come out in the media, so a few sources, to talk about how folks had scoped it, the areas, to be looted in advance of this.
My guess is that it would be Trump and the right wing.
That's what I said.
it feels a little Kristallnacht to me, because a lot of the windows got bashed, a lot of things got stolen. And yeah, it was all put forth in social media first, right? Just like American policy. So it's
Sickening.
creepy. Yeah, it's creepy.
I don't know. It may be time to blow this pop stand, but I don't know where we'd go.
I'm stuck here till I die, I'm afraid, friend. I'm not going to leave.
I need to interrupt Todd.
Yeah.
I sent you a different link because I was able to pull up the live stream directly instead of the page where it's sitting.
Oh, okay. Oops, I just sent everyone the page. Well, maybe they'll find it. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. If they click the right spot, they'll see it. But I just was able to get myself to the live stream. I found it, and then I took the link of just the live stream instead of the page.
So the crisis is resolved, Al.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Crisis resolved. I'm actually going to post that on Facebook right now.
This might be the first reading I've given in a decade or more.
Yeah, you've kind of just disappeared altogether.
Mm-hmm.
Once kids started to arrive, right?
Yeah.
That happens. How old are your kids?
They are soon to be 10 and 8.
Well,
You have it. 10 years.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know that I've given a reading since Archer was born. I have no idea.
yeah, it was like that with my kid. He's turning 30 this week.
Wow.
I know. But my husband is a poet too, and we didn't do any readings or go anywhere for a long time.
I mean, I'll be reading a whole bunch of stuff that no one's heard yet, so that'll be cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Or if
See?
we have heard it, then we will have forgotten it by now.
I'm gonna read
Are you
Doodle,
gonna
a
read-
hamster died for my sins, and the masturbating baboon at the Brookfield Zoo.
I was going to mention Doodah,
Yeah,
but the
do that.
baboon is good too.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Let's see.
that's a totally memorable.
Those
poem.
were Molly's poems, were they not? Did you not do them at Molly's, Todd?
I think I did those. I did those at whatever that cafe place was on Lincoln that Charlie Newman hosted.
Oh, there, yeah. That was next to a beer hall. Literally, talk about a putsch. I was I didn't like the beer hall, but the gallery was kind of cool. Al, you had something to no. You didn't have anything to do with that, did you? That was all Charlie Newman's.
Yeah, that was Charlie Newman's. I read for him a few times.
Yeah.
Nice to see you.
Hey, Bill.
Anita, everybody.
Hey,
Hey, Bill.
what happened
Hey,
to
Doc.
Orson? What happened to Orson? You had Orson. You had Orson Welles.
I could put him back.
No, I think you're a lot cuter.
How do you like my do-it-yourself haircut?
Nice job.
It's very nice. It's very nice. And now we have Rusty. Rusty, stranger, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right.
It's just,
Hang on, I got to put on my earphones.
Yeah. Leonard, do you have sound? Are you up?
Yes, I do.
Oh, great. Good to see you.
You too.
And Rusty, where are you calling in from?
Mars.
Mars. Oh, well, that's a really good
or
connection
or
you got.
Madison, whichever.
Are you in Madison? I thought you were moving.
No, I'm in Madison. I did move from Mexico to Madison.
Oh, okay.
Thinking of moving somewhere else, but that's for later. But I have such a rotten internet connection here. I have to tie in with with Ethernet, and then plug in all kinds of. There we go. Complicated shit. How you guys doing?
Good. Good.
Kurt, boy, I haven't seen you in a while.
Well, there's more to me to see now than you ever saw before, but fortunately it's below the view of the camera.
You look
So,
different with earphones.
Well, that's the best way, I should say, for you. It's the best way. I don't get feedback this way. It means everybody can talk all they want. It doesn't go screeching back in their ears.
Hello, Susan.
Hi.
Hey,
How you
Susan.
doing? Hey, everybody. Good to see you all. Good to see you, Kurt. Good to see you, Nina.
See,
I
What
know
happened to-
everybody
what
here.
happened to
Bill.
Bob? Did we?
Hi, Robbie.
Hi.
Oh, Bill,
I
do you and Robbie
bounced.
know each other, or you just being friendly?
I've been on Zoom meetings with her, and I know her through Facebook.
Oh, hello. Yeah, that's right. We're connected.
Okay. I just Molly Sturdivant just sent me an email saying that she's going to be late for the open mic about 7:20.
All right.
And Larry Janowski is probably not going to make it.
Is his what is it? His name day?
Yes, and I looked it up. His name day is the day that his name is Lawrence. So Saint Lawrence died today in like 200 AD. So I had to look it up to
Saint
find out what that meant.
Lawrence. Wow.
Yeah.
So then is there some kind of celebration or what's
Yeah, well, yeah, he's going out to dinner, and it's like a birthday, I guess. That he's
Yeah,
doing.
some cultures don't celebrate birthdays. They celebrate name days instead.
okay.
Yeah.
So actually, it's Saint Lorenzo because he was an Italian bishop or something like that in Rome, and was martyred. So that's Larry's name day saint.
Okay. I was
Is
gonna write-
Lorenzo and Lawrence, are they the same saint or different saints?
No,
They're the same?
Lorenzo and Lawrence are the same name, but there might be multiple St. Lawrences. I don't know about
The-
that.
There
Saint
is.
Lawrence was the one who was he was Burns, right? On the grill, on the
Did you say on the grill?
yeah, on the grill.
But that would be Saint Larry.
No, it's St. Lawrence, and there's a joke about him, which is that when he was on the grill, he said, "I'm done on this side. Turn me over." So that was a
Fork in me.
purported rumor that that lasted and kind of stayed with St. Lawrence.
Yeah, well, I don't know how he was martyred, but the Romans martyred him, so I don't know.
They
Yeah,
were good at that.
They were good at finding ways.
yeah. I wrote a poem about St. Lawrence. It's called "The Grilled Saint."
Oh,
Oh my God. You should send it to Larry Janowski. He probably would appreciate it.
Okay, you might.
I was thinking of writing to him today, actually, to Larry. I was thinking of reading something that has some Latin in it, and I don't know how to pronounce the Latin. So I thought I needed to find somebody who would know how to pronounce Latin. So, but I didn't get around to it. Anybody here know how to pronounce Latin?
No,
I'm a
but I
scientist.
face it. I face
What's
it
that?
in my work as a narrator. People deal me Latin words at the encyclopedia all the time.
Okay.
So what I end up doing, I'm not sure it's really good, but
Mm.
sometimes I will go to Google Translate because they
Ah,
have a pronouncing tool.
right.
I'll say it, I'll type it up on the Latin side, and even though it could translate into something else in English, I'll hit the speaker icon, and then it comes out as the robot would say it. Now,
Okay.
is that real?
Mhm, yeah.
I don't know.
It's
But
a
I'm always
dead language.
confused over the
We don't know.
CK thing, like Veni Vidi Vici, and whatever, like,
So I wanna
Veni Vidi
inter-
Vici.
I want to interrupt our friendly banter, which is fun. But I just
ahead.
checked on YouTube, and we officially start at 7, and we have 10 people watching us. So
Oh my gosh.
hello
Okay.
out there in YouTube land. This is the Traveling Mollies, and Nina, the way YouTube is working, this is the first time to our audience that we're doing this. So to let everybody know is that YouTube sees whoever's talking. So I'm gonna hand off to Nina Corwin, my co-host.
I have absolutely nothing. I have no idea what to say to you, but I was thinking about a prairie home companion because, I wanted to say live from, what's it called? Live from Sturgeon Bay, because Bill and I are up visiting with Al. And so we're live from Sturgeon Bay via Zoom and 15 seconds ahead of YouTube. And I want to welcome everybody here. And, if there's any silver lining of this pandemic, and you have to look very hard for that, it's the fact that we've been able to have people come to this reading that are from California or Madison or up to their ears in children, and like our opener tonight, Todd Heldt, who has not been able to come to readings because you're being a librarian, right?
Yeah.
On Monday nights, but thanks to the pandemic, you're able to be with us. And
Always look on the bright side.
yes. So tonight, our features are Todd Heldt, who is opening for Danny Solis. And I don't know if does anybody other than Rusty and Kurt know Danny Solis?
The name sounds familiar. Yeah.
Yes.
Danny's a long time slam really powerful poet who I met first at the Albuquerque Poetry Festival, probably in 27 years or something like that. I think it's going to be fun. I'm not sure how well we've all aged, but pretty decently.
Oh, I think he's aged well. He's held on.
Yep.
And just a little background anecdotally on my side, I met Danny at the bookseller in Cambridge, Mass, in about 1991. He was when Patricia Smith sort of became a Chicago expatriate and decided to carry the slam with her to Boston. And Danny took it up and was one of the most energetic people there. He's migrated around. You saw, Nina, you mentioned he was active in literature down in Albuquerque in New Mexico. But when he comes online, we might want to ask him about the Poi Ranch. We in Chicago are familiar with a band called Poi Dog Pondering. Apparently there's some episodes with him there at the Poi Ranch that those people had in Texas for a while. So the gentleman has been around, a very creative mind, and just charming and fun. Anyway, I'll leave it back to you guys.
Yeah. Can I ask everyone who's on the Zoom call and going to read, when you're not speaking, put yourself on mute, because YouTube's getting confused. So it's jumping around. So, and to all our audience out there, we're up to, I think we have 12 people now watching. Just hello, this is Traveling Molly's, and we're going to get started with our open mic in just a minute. Nina, do you want to start out the reading tonight?
Yeah, I can. I'm going to read this poem I wrote a couple of years back that's now in Dear Future, my latest chapbook. And it's called Tips for Today's Commodities Watcher. And you're going to have to keep watching, because even though the market's been doing well for no good reason, that's not going to necessarily last. So, tips for today's commodities watcher. Recent fluctuations notwithstanding, the boom has overlooked the fruit. Cotton is perched on a catapult. It's got that lean and hungry look. From here to China, glut has turned to shortage. Bargains lurk in the bales. To say hot commodity is to fill your mouth with coal and shit diamonds. Beyond our wildest hopes, Goldilocks has assumed the position, setting off a chain reaction in silk stockings. Apprehension is to be expected when approaching the curves. Hold on. In the orchards, yellow jackets are swarming. Yesterday's barons of white gold are gone, fallen from their antebellum trees. Slick polyesters passe, an overpriced and sweaty substitute. Don't be fooled by apparent inversions. When in doubt, remember to check your pulse. Egged on by a market in heat, bullish heads are starting to spin. The verge is in the offing, my friends. Cotton is again the pick. This is the time to jump. Thank you. And where you're jumping from is a question up for debate. But in the meantime, for those that don't know, we start our open mic with Al and I each reading a poem so that nobody has to go first in the open mic except for us. So Al, let's hear a poem. But before you do, I just want to let people know Al is one of the two publisher editors of a magazine called After Hours that's just hit its 20th year, and he's holding up the the issue. And it's really exciting because there aren't that many print journals that have made it for 20 years. So
Yeah.
I know he's going to have a reading coming up for that august
Well,
occasion.
Yeah, thank you, Nina. This is the new issue. And we do next week, if you look on Facebook, actually not yet, it's not on Facebook yet, but there's going to be a Facebook event. We're going to try and do a similar program to celebrate the 40th issue, 20 years of After Hours. And it'll be a similar, forum on Zoom, and then we're going to live stream it to YouTube as well. So I'm going to read a poem.
Congratulations, so wonderful.
Thank you, Susan. It's been fun and interesting, and a lot of work, but it's kind of gives you a really good feeling to know that you made 20 years. It also makes you feel like, okay, I gotta inject some youth into this whole organization. So, but so I'm going to read a poem tonight. This is called Driftwood. You've landed almost whole. Your long Pacific journey ended. Tree roots freed now and windblown like tired dreadlocks. How far from Acapulco, a fishing village in Cuba, or simply a quiet float across the port of Vallarta Bay? How far before resting here, your thick branch legs planted strong in this soft shifting sandbar? Old man, we know how way leads on to way. Naked in your grained skin, bark gone, smooth scars of carved initials, a history in hieroglyphs, your faded marine tattoos. No one sees you resting in the sun, dry, hardened, sharks and lightning storms and glory days behind us, waves splashing our feet beneath, breath by breath, dreaming of lions. Another aging poem, thank you. So who will start the open mic? Well, we should have Robbie start because she was here first and been waiting the longest. So I'm gonna hand it off to Robbie Nestor.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm really interested to meet a new group of poets or people I only know from Facebook and haven't talked to much in real life. So I'm going to start with, I'm going to read it off my A Gift of Words. Before I was even born, my parents bought me a Webster's Unabridged, an atlas, and an inflatable globe. As a small child, I would stand before the globe and spin it, singing out the names of countries and continents, parcels of multicolored land, drifting on a multitude of seas. It must have been a wise investment. I employed that globe and atlas until the end of high school, when the globe deflated and the atlas had become defunct. But a dictionary is never obsolete. I keep it to this day, though new editions come and go. The words persist, still solid in my mouth as stones, bursting against the palate like the ripest grapes. Zest evokes the bright aroma of a lemon, feeling of joy, sharp spark of flavor, while need offers an image of the cat, clenching and unclenching his claws like a virtuoso at the keyboard, eyes closed in bliss. Alongside this, the give of risen dough under my knuckles, sweet miasma of fresh yeast. How can I capture all of this without the grammar coming unglued? So many simple nouns, plebeian verbs can work the same enchantment, unscrolling eons of ideas and images cloaked in ordinary meaning. Is it in the syllables held lightly on the tongue, or in the history of the word traced with one finger, like a river on a map, the veins under the skin? Or is it in the mind? Each word a trove we pass along like DNA, packaged in a book that harbors the seed of every other book that ever was. One short one, In the Garden to Richard, after To Dorothy by Marvin Bell. You're my practical potato, sprawling out over the rocky earth. I might have sought a bird of paradise, lofty head, standing high above the crowd, but you will nourish me long after their stalks have fallen, when the bright rose in his pomp has lost his petals. You have all the eyes I need, enough to sprout a garden under the ground in secret where nobody but me will know. I go out there with my spade and hack away the roots, leaving a portion of the tuber. I couldn't grow a weed except by accident. Without you, I would starve. Thank you.
Right.
Very nice. Thank you.
Nice. Hey, Kurt, could you send Danny the Zoom link again? He doesn't. There you are.
Hello.
Wow.
Kurt did his job. Hi, everyone. I'm sorry.
It's fantastic to see you. This is Danny Solis, who's going to be our feature for tonight. And we've gotten going with Al and I did a poem, and Robbie Nestor just did a couple of really neat ones. And let's see, next up, how about, no, we can't have a woman yet. How about Rusty? Rusty, it's great to see you. Rusty from Madison. Shaking head. Oh, you're silenced. Unmute yourself. Can anybody read lips?
I forgot how this worked.
Well done. There we go.
I gotta stand up. I can't do the sitting down. Before and after Bloomington. The road between Champaign and Bloomington, Illinois, is an uncrossable distance. I drove through the same sunset for a week without stopping, and where Chicago should have been, it was Saturday. Farmers drove trucks, the color and shape of ruined hats, carried shopping lifts for chicken wire and staple goods, while stores without color advertised their grief from shadows dragged along the highway. Distant cheerleaders rehearsed enthusiasm in front of empty high school bleachers. And toothy, malevolent cars with names like Turbo and Achieva left me behind like I was standing still. At mile 39, I passed the same graying family from the last 3 rest stops, stumped by the long division of always almost there. It was still Saturday 2 days later, dust parching from the corn and hawks perched on the phone lines like unforgiving creatures. There were no service stations or exit ramps, and no sad pavement decals of former raccoons with their clever empty hands. Small animals apparently know better than to die on the road between Champaign and Bloomington, Illinois. They'd be dead there so much longer than they were alive. When the sun finally soaked into the horizon, I fantasized finding my first girlfriend, the one who dumped me in 10th grade. She had become a foreign film star, looked a lot like Isabella Rossellini, only better. Said she'd been searching for me for years. She was sorry she was such a fool, always knew I'd make good. I shrugged, told her she was too late. I quit all my old jobs with heroic flourishes before they could fire me, and rewrote old quarrels until I was no longer wrong. I made resolutions, repeating them out loud until the words didn't make sense anymore. It's a maddeningly straight road, only one place to go and one way to get there. But even so, after a while, I wondered if I were lost. Isn't it surprising when something that seemed so long as it happened turns out to have been so short? And one more, this will still come into the 5 minutes there, Nina. You'll be happy to know. She runs a tight ship. How the poem works. Like a drunk on a subway, a poem should not beg for sympathy from strangers. Like a pile of kindling, it should wait. Like a witness at an execution, a poem should not turn away. It must acknowledge a moment that needs to be. The women outside the prison fence who listen for the names of their sons don't appear anxious, don't appear to even breathe. The man with the list has a wooden leg he has clumsily tried to conceal. A poem should reveal about as much as this. The widow cursing a priest at the funeral holds your interest despite your embarrassment. 2 blocks away, a blind boy on the back of a motorcycle is screaming into the wind. It could be terror or unbearable joy. Thanks.
Thank you, Rusty.
Hi, Rusty. Nice work.
Yeah.
Haven't seen you in so many years, Rusty. It's great to hear you. You're muted now again. Nice work, man.
I know, isn't it great?
Yes. All right. Well, let's keep our open mic going before we get to Todd and Danny. And let's see. How about Leonard Lund? Why don't you give us a couple poems tonight?
You can twist my arm. Yeah.
Okay.
A couple of things from this spring's fundraiser chapbook for St. Baldrick. I've seen this before. The streets of some small town or equally major burg empty as New York on New Year's morning. The audience waiting for the ants or grasshoppers or decades of abandoned Easter Bunny offspring to cross the city limits, only to come mano a mano with our hero, twice as tall as everyone else in the cast. He and his army waiting to kick some mutant animal butt all the way into the future, or fry all the virus-bearing former humans with napalm from on high. Or maybe it's a faded memory, made of would-be, mingled with was and maybe. Dinner with the crowd followed by a movie for 4, and then just the 2 of us walking. The lakeshore, the sun rising, melting the skyline. Behind our words of already evaporating happy endings. Waiting for the storm. Almost 10:30, stars above, but out to the west is lightning. And my dog barking. The front, the TV just spoke of with thunder if you're counting. And the white dog, smelling raccoon, who will come in before the rain arrives. So you might as well be patient. Just past 11, sirens on the county are answered by coyotes at the lake, setting off the corner neighbor's hound. Our dog ignores them all, settles sighing on the bedroom floor. The light show and smell of rain remind her of sheep her ancestors watched over patiently. After midnight, and the dog shifts easily. The cats dream, my wife murmurs. The rain begins from the west, heavily, then softer as if falling asleep as well. I leave the east window open, wait for my sleep to come for me patiently. Thank you all.
So let's see. How about our multi-talented Susan Messer? You never know what you're going to get, whether it's going to be fiction, nonfiction, or
Or
an occasional poem.
this is going to be some hybrid fiction and nonfiction. It's prose. And let me just say that Deborah Edelman and Jim Madigan are up at Sturgeon Bay this week.
No kidding.
Yeah. So I guess the gang's all there. I have to turn on my light. I'm sorry. 1 second. Sorry. Okay. Now we're going to go young. Child Development 101. Say you're a baby. You were just born and you don't know any rules. So you scream and suck your toes and let loose in your diapers whenever and wherever the need arises. You might say that you have no inhibitions, but you get away with it because you're cute and delectably soft and easy to cart around. Eventually, though, your parents and community must teach you the social rules. They want you to get to a point where you don't scream in grocery stores and shopping malls and airports, even if you feel like it. You have to learn that there are times and places for everything. That is, you have to learn to inhibit your feelings and urges and biological functions. You do learn this. And as a result, you never cry as hard or as loud as you did when you were a baby. At first, you feel good about having learned to control your wild urges. You start having friends, and you like that. Plus, you like the praise you get from your parents and teachers and everyone else when you behave yourself. And this good feeling goes on for a while through what psychologists call middle childhood, when you're learning your basic skills like reading and writing and arithmetic, but other things too, riding bikes and making brownies and having lemonade stands. Then you get to be 11 or so, and everything changes. You're becoming a hairy beast. Now, if you're the class clown type or extremely extroverted, you may fully embrace this transformation. But a lot of people feel that something very odd is at work, and they spend most of their time hoping to simply blend in. This we might call the tyranny of conformism. Say you always wore tight pants. You like wearing tight pants, even though it's the style to wear loose pants. In fact, you never even noticed what the style was. Tight pants are what your mother bought you or what got handed down to you, and you never thought much about it. But then say someone at school makes fun of you for the tight pants, and maybe another kid or two piles on. You don't know what to do. On the one hand, you don't want to start wearing loose pants just because some jerk had nothing better to do than make fun of you. But on the other hand, you don't like being made fun of. And you're already feeling so odd about yourself that you decide to make the switch. You talk to your parents about the pants, and impossible though it seems, they manage to get you the right style. But now you've given in. And that wild part of you that once knew how to scream and cry, that knew nothing about style or what others thought, gets buried deep, deep, deeper. Then say you start having a dream. Say it's that you want to play a musical instrument. Say it's the piano or the guitar. Say it's the clarinet. You don't even know what it could become, this dream. All you know is that you've heard a certain kind of music played. Say it was the blues, or say it was rock, and it made you want to get up and dance. It made you feel something. And it made hundreds of other people feel that way too. Maybe it made them jump up and down. Say it was Bruce Springsteen at the Super Bowl, or Beyonce. Of course, you're never going to tell anyone about that dream. You're never going to be so stupid as to say that you want to be like Bruce Springsteen or Beyonce, or whatever dream person it was who made you feel you wanted to dance and sing. But still, you ask your parents if you can take lessons. Or maybe you have to take lessons at school. And even if you're being forced to take lessons, You have a secret gratitude about it because of that dream. So you begin with the scales and with the little pieces that don't sound anything like the music in your dream, but the teachers expect you to play this stuff over and over. And while that wild vision of Bruce Springsteen or Beyonce at the Super Bowl flashes through your mind, the adults expect you to sit with your instrument, maybe half an hour, maybe an hour, and play this stupid, boring piece over and over. And the people you live with make cracks about it. They hold their hands over their ears. They say it sounds like a barnyard. You hear them laughing in the other room, or maybe they don't say anything at all. Or maybe worst of all, they act like it's really great. Oh, sweetie, that was so wonderful. Good job. And you know it wasn't great. It wasn't anything. And now when you think of Springsteen or Beyonce at the Super Bowl, you feel like an idiot. How did you think you might ever be able to do anything like that? And then you go to your lesson and you try to play that stupid song the teacher gave you, and you wouldn't in a million years want the teacher to know you even care about this. He's the last person in the world you'd share your Super Bowl dream with. And so you bumble around there for him, and he says something like, I can tell you haven't been practicing, or loosen up. He might take your elbow and try to flop it around. He might do that with both your elbows. Loosen up, he says. But how do you loosen up after all this other stuff? The fact that you can't scream at shopping malls, the fact that you somehow became a hairy beast, despite your best intentions to tame your wildness and behave yourself. The fact that you were bullied and humiliated into wearing loose pants like everyone else, even when you really didn't want to. And the fact that only now are you realizing that what it could take to move from this pitiful little no talent nothing who can barely make it through the scales to that dream you had, that big, marvelous, and humiliating secret dream that you had some special talent and could express it in a way that would move not only you, but a world of people around you. Loosen up, your teacher says. And before you know it, tears are streaming and you don't know why, nor can you do anything about it. And if you're lucky, your teacher quietly gets up, fetches a box of Kleenex, places it discreetly beside you, and waits until you're ready to go on.
Oh,
That is
thank
so.
you, Susan. Thank you. Very nice.
Thank you.
I just want to ask, Susan, is there going to be more to that?
Well, do you think there should be? I mean, there's all of adulthood, I guess. There's teen.
You know what? It's definitely not necessary. It was just so good that I wanted there to be more of it, but there probably shouldn't be more.
It's always meant to quit when you're ahead.
We hear enough about adulthood, so.
Anyway, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right.
Thanks, Susan.
Yeah.
Next up in the open mic, I have to pay attention to who read and who didn't. Let's have Bob Jacoin. Chico.
Thank you. And it's really great to have Dan Solis here with the Zoom. Looking, as I caught him in that glimpse, exactly as he did 24 years ago in Slam Nation. By the way, anyone who hasn't caught that, if you want to see the Slam in its greatest and its golden age, check out the Austin team pieces from Slam Nation. They're just so full of life. That I could just thinking a moment ago, if Lin-Manuel Miranda had done a musical about the first golden age of Slam, he probably would have had Mark Smith as George Washington, Christopher Smith as Thomas Jefferson, Taylor Mowley probably would be Aaron Burr, but I really think Danny Solis could be Hamilton. Meanwhile, I'm just going to do a bunch of shorties here that written at stoplights. My glass is fogging up. I'm just trying trying to breathe through this virus mask. How clearly I remember taking such a long shower with you. The visitors. I'm glad sports are back so that the opposing team can be the ogres, the devils, the bad guys, and thus take the places of my fellow Americans. Off. Walking through the summer woods to get away, having forgotten bug repellent, I put on my mask again so that I will only be bitten on my brow, limbs, aura, and so my lips, unswollen, will be kissable once more, once this pandemic. When the Martians came to Earth, the president implored them, can you give me the cure for the virus? Can you fix the economy? Can you make all the Black Lives Matter people go home? Oh no, the Martians said, we're not here for that. We're here to vote. The virus lingers because unlike the viruses that came before it, it wants more than a host. It wants a family, a home. You adopt ferrets, it says. You adopt rules of order and antique dispositions and conspiracy theories. Why can you not adopt me? They have reopened bowling alleys in Georgia. I never even knew they bowled in Georgia. Here in Chicago, an electrical storm is closing down the afternoon. Strike, spare, 7:10, thunder split. I wish the Keglers of the Peach State could see and hear this, could stand almost dry beneath an overhang or an awning or the marquee of a darkened theater, 6 or so feet apart. Bob's height was. Take this all in. Waiting for you to wake up, the Messiah returns to earth and then departs once more, having taught me this funny, faraway look I will give you when you sit up in bed and ask me, what's new? The second cup of coffee in the morning pines for the third and last glass of wine at night, imagines, oh, how they are made for each other, and if they might only meet one day in mid-afternoon over tea. I'm lazy this afternoon, but daydreaming, not drowsing. I'm jazz lazy. I don't want to swing in action. The old jazz drummer lays off the cymbals, then the brushes, then the snare, until he is no longer even in the rhythm section anymore, but makes the sound of a rain slackening, the dripping of the leaves while the sky is clear, then pounds once on the bass pedal to tell us the earth is drinking it up. Civil unrest sandwich. If the cannibals come for us, old love, I hope we can crunch together between their teeth and jaws like a BLT. I will be the L. Lastly, I love it when you speak French. Thank you, my old dogged love, for taking a break from the violence of your silence to tell a joke about how we are all in this human folly together. The rich and the poor have become so serious of late, so sure in their anger. The middle class, on top of everything else, has to carry their joie de vivre. Thank you.
Yeah. Super. Super. So Molly Sturdivant, you want to read something for us?
Hello. Sound check. Excellent. Thank you, Nina and Al, always for hosting. I look forward to seeing you all again live in Oak Park or elsewhere. So I'll start with a poem. It came out this weekend in Per Happened magazine. They put out a call for poetry based on heat waves, or any writing based on heat waves. So here is a 100% true poem of myself living in Paris in 2003. The last night of the Holocene, the 6th arrondissement, Abbaye des Saint-Germain-des-Prés, 2003. Skin bears its salt, its fiber scent, like silver gelatin locks light. I call to mind a bed where fingers laid. How the morning blazing bore down, and yet we went out. Corners of shade were crowded on the last afternoon of the Holocene. Every rue exposed to sun was a hollow shell. We saw the empty afternoon through, wilting up and down the Seine. Our hot hands latched, other faces cut the water frowning. Heaving, it was hard to inhale. A concierge collapsed. A waiter laid down with his clattering tray, white porcelain blasted handles, crema pooled, and one flying spoon wore the bridge on its back, then slid all the way down. The river was no reprieve, the old river, a river so seen, so warm, melting wires, frayed trains, pantographs. And the city declared the cathedrals are thermal refugia now. No fees, no rules. Doors the size of houses opened portals to the old earth, showing cool wombs of dark. We sat in the wooden chairs of Germain Desprez, setting our stuff softly down. The silence magnified my love's whisper, sang his pencil's mark, a scratch of chairs moving across the crypt, vaulted through the painted canyon. We would try to get the arches everywhere, for these are arcs of ancient oak, he said, describing perfect parabola. Hold my hand, where has the world gone? Hold me up, the centuries just sank. My friend, this life, where will your skin go? It's just us and Christ at the 11th station, hovering on the wall in the holy dark, nothing but body, story, and the light that carries it remains. Even when the sun was long down, heat had killed the day, heat had crowned the first summer that burned like new summers. Pas normal, he said. His mouth has a place, and his words, far down the middle of my own eternity, forever I am flung open. I see the hour now. 2 francs for one candle. We held the cold red glass between us, a tiny seed of fire inside. The walk back to his apartment was still hot, the bed still simmered. We begged for air, for remembering winter, old summer, at least our smells, even a tongue. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you. And the second, I wrote while the Art Institute was closed. I hereby celebrate its reopening, but I missed it while it was gone. This is called Seurat's A Sunday on the Rangeat hangs unseen in the Art Institute's marble darkness all day long now. Midday heats the grass where crabapple limbs lay low across bright ground. A long shadow happens. Lines undo plans, demarcate, denude us, cut the softness. We've flocked to an acre of public green, but we are too many. The line to get in the park, to play and to talk, to lounge is a long cobra, body coiled around the block, confounding history. Child, the year slithers. I never used to wait, masked, to bask or recline on the earth's crust. No, not on this knoll or any other.
Thank you, Molly. It was
Thank
really
you.
nice. I'd like to see that first one on the page one of these days. Pretty.
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm going to be, I just want to acknowledge our live stream audience. We have a nice number of people watching, and thank you and welcome to Traveling Molly's. We have, for those of you who have joined a little late, we have our opening feature tonight is Todd Heldt, and then our feature tonight is Danny Solis. But before we close out the our open mic, I just want to thank everyone, and our last person on the list for the open mic tonight is Bill Yarrow. So, Bill, let's hear it.
Hi, thank you, everybody. This is called Late in the Afternoon in November. Late in the afternoon in November, 5 decades ago, critical invitations were forcibly withheld. Late in the afternoon in November, 4 decades ago, I was nephew to the uncle who hand-delivered insurrectionist pamphlets to the resistance. Late in the afternoon in November, 3 decades ago, fierce resentments developed into Parkinson's disease. Late in the afternoon in November, 2 decades ago, I worked a spinner, drying the blackened brass shoe eyes so the moon wouldn't reflect off the soldiers' boots. Late in the afternoon in November, a decade ago, I almost drowned in biblical effluvia. Late in the afternoon in November, 6 months ago, writing poems had consequences. Thank you. I'm going to read the poem that I mentioned before about St. Lawrence. This is called The Grilled Saint. I celebrate St. Lawrence, who was broiled on a gridiron and whose seaway is impressive. He is the patron saint of couriers, those who dress, finish, and color leather to make it strong, flexible, waterproof, and pretty. For conspiring to hide church documents, librarians also claim him. When asked to turn over the church's riches, he brought before the Roman prefect the poor, blind, ragged, and infirm. These, he said, are the true treasures of the church. At which point they seized him and placed him atop burning coals. After some time, he is reputed to have remarked, "Turn me over, I'm done on this side." Thus he is claimed not only by cooks and chefs, but also by comedians. But was he really that droll as he was being burned alive? The Reverend Patrick Joseph Healy argues that this was the result of an innocuous error, the unwitting omission of the letter P, by which the solemn formula for announcing the death of a martyr, passus est, was made to read assus est meaning he suffered, assus est meaning he was roasted. That's how the disparaging proverb, "He's as lazy as Lawrence," got started and spread across the centuries. For that was what his tormentors said about the martyr as he lay supine on the burning grill. A man, apathetic and listless, too indolent, they thought, even to wriggle. Thank you.
Thus ends our august and just plain old fantastic open mic. I'm not going to name any particular open mic that has anything on us. They don't. You all are wonderful for sticking with us in COVID time. So what we'd like to do is take a, let's see.
Nina, I don't know, because we're live streaming, maybe we shouldn't take a break as we normally do.
That sounds like a decent idea. So in that case, and without further ado, I'm going to see if I can. I'll stop it. I can bring up our. I'm sorry. I'm having problems here. Our feature. Do you have
I can
bios in front of you?
Yes, I
Good.
can.
Why don't you introduce our friend Todd Heldt?
Hey, I'm Todd. I have all the qualifications.
Oh, that's great. Hold on one second, Todd, and I am going to let our audience know who you are just briefly. This is, I'm reading Todd's bio. Todd Heldt lives in Chicago and writes under various pseudonyms. He has published poetry, novels, and had a feature-length film appear at local theaters. He is currently working on an absurdist romance novel and a collection of poetry. So without further ado, I'm gonna hand it off to our opening act feature tonight, Todd Heldt.
Great, thank you very much. Can you hear me okay?
Fine.
Okay, great. So I will just go through these. Hear the clock. Here the clock whose rhythm burdens, there the ocean on fire. You with a pen writing your childhood was lonely. Yes, wait until tomorrow. It's called Why You Leave. The pen is out of ink. You can see the ink in the cartridge, but nothing comes out. You scratch through the annual budget report. That was the only hard copy, and the computers are all on fire. It is the most boring disaster movie ever committed to film. The page is empty and cannot call your hand away from whatever else it dreamed of wrapping its 5 pale fingers around. The train home jumps a curve like a drunk girl on prom night, but twin flowers bloom on the windshield because you need another like a barrel to point you, a trigger to launch the damage you were meant to become. An emergency crew shifts through the wreckage and crosses embellish the road. Birds eat the candy the mourners have left for the children. There are always children, and the birds won't sing, or they are so loud it is hard to think. The train tumbles off the tracks, crashes through the sidewalk and burrows, denser than lead through the dirt, 10 stories down to the tunnel that fills with water whenever natural disasters visit and swell like a knuckles bruise in the sky. You're trapped in a well. Hasn't he seen the news? Everyone is talking about the girl and the well, and the doctor opines there is no quick cure for claustrophobia, long falls, or for screwing the wrong person on purpose. He wants to see you in his office as soon as during regular business hours or after. He proposes a course of liquids, mild foods, and tactful games to play in the parlor. People are cautioned to talk around the truth in your presence and act as if laundry were exciting. Then there you are at the bottom of the world, mummified in concrete and perfectly preserved. But the birds will not shut up, and the hero of this story is trying to explain his artwork to an uh-huhing bartender. The page holds more questions than questions, and the cliffhanger seems less important than going to bed. You could binge watch your life in an evening, and no one would find you down there. I was hearing some feedback and distortion. Is everything sounding okay?
I
Yeah.
was hearing it too.
It was okay.
Yeah, there's a little buzz.
Okay, we good though?
Yeah, still totally,
Yeah.
understandable and everything.
Okay, great.
Good by my standards.
Okay, so things I want to discuss with the girl I took to the movies on Friday nights. The films we sat through about dinosaurs and the Holocaust, the 6-year-old boy who bled out on the playground seesaw because guns are easier than counseling, the cop shot twice in the head across the street from where I work, and new buildings erupting daily from the sidewalks to cover it up. The polar vortex is split in two, which is now just a thing that happens. They built a robot that opens doors and nanobots hunt cancer cells, but 7 school shootings this month, and my children are the nexus of love and dark despair, falling asleep with the grown-ups' worries in my head and waking to the dread of all could go wrong. There was an 8th while I was editing. You didn't want to have children because of the world they might inherit. We used condoms in the back seat of my parents' car as we came naturally to the anatomy of sin and our changed bodies charged with hormones and emotions. And didn't it seem of all the wrongs God was watching on earth, we were the foremost in his sights? I've given up on the notion of sin and the world has become what it is. But do you remember crying on my shoulder as the credits rolled over a graveyard in black and white? It was the story of Jews who had survived, and we hoped so many stones would never be stacked again. What about the adventure that had nothing to do with real life? A robot assassin sent from the future because killing us like yesterday would no longer draw a crowd.
Very
This is called Broken Mirror. The field of wheat ferments behind my dead grandparents' farm. A mourning dove resigns itself to the evening horizon and sounds its notes across the flat. The sunset wants me to ask that same question I yearn for, an old love, and imagine her dark hair of the backlit trees, and remember the ecstatic sky I thought would always extend. Just as love, the world will end. The wrong words rumble from my stupid mouth, and the hammer I hold make worse what is broken. She stands in the mirror, hating herself, and my love is insufficient to convince either one of us. So I pour 2 bourbons instead. In the middle of the rot, I wait for the final sunset and think of all I mishandled and her that night, like this night at last, drunk enough to come.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. This is called Late Learner. She needed astrophysics and theology, slow and steady in her bedroom. I learned many ologies and endearments to know what was needed, the movements of getting her there, almost there. But love isn't simple as summer. Even then, we watched 2 blue jays struggle over a single nest, and I failed to grow tomatoes in the backyard. It rained for weeks. The tenderest fruits rotted first on the vine, then on the ground, and brought the knowledge that wanting and having are often at odds. I watched like an owl for night, to fall, to be alone with her, to try again to bring her sweetness dark as molasses, with hands and mouth deliberate as planting seeds, precise and well placed to grow a spark inside her until it burst out of her at last, an answer to the urgent question of her body. How long does it take to fold origami, pulling something alive from an empty surface, the first green shoot from the ground? This long, at least. Thank you. Do I have time for a couple more?
Sure, or at least one.
Okay. In the moment of being nostalgic for a past that didn't happen, she kisses me beside the Chicago River on our lunch break, and no one can know. This plaque tells of disaster a long time ago. I'm wishing I knew her when I was young and lonely, so I could unbutton her buttons and play with her hair for more of my time. I want us drinking iced coffee, thrifting, and making out in all of my memories' alleys, but she would have hated me. But look who we are now that our lunch hour is almost over in this present tense buzz. I'm wishing my fingers could reach beyond this buttoned button like the second hand tripping the needle, and we have a meeting we must get to right now, but I'm kissing her lips right next to this ancient shipwreck and trembling where hundreds died, dreaming all time is now. Yeah, you got time for one more short one?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
There's something I think I want to say to you, and I
Is it nice?
Oh, I was going to say, first of all, that it's really fantastic to hear the work that you're doing. And I'm also reflecting on all the love and heat in your poems. And that is a kind of a dramatic shift from the days when you were killing off hamsters.
That's a true story. Go to hell. Don't mock the death of hamsters.
I wasn't saying it was anything less true. I mean, it was marvelous because, stranger than fiction. All right, one more.
Okay, thank you. In this draft, the woman dies. The smoke fans into the sky like dark hair spreads across a pillow. 2 lovers fall in love with the same old sign that marked a liquor store, but now sells cameras the new owners couldn't bear to replace the old neon because of memories or nostalgia. She's still dead, by the way, so nothing has changed. But sometimes I am the homeless man on the corner of North and Western who considers the pigeons as friends. They gather around my feet and perch on my arms. They respond to their names and circle back to my outstretched hands. That is enough. I will not rewrite this.
That's Todd Heldt.
Thank
Everybody.
you. Thank you. Liz.
Thank you, Todd.
Thank you very much.
Hey,
It's a pleasure
Todd,
being here.
you have a latest book you can tell us about? Just not tell us about, but just name in case people want to buy something.
Well, how many people are watching this right now? Because I have one written under my pseudonym that I'm not at liberty to divulge. But if you write me an email, if you contact me, I will promise to get it in your hands because it's really fucking weird and funny.
Okay. But it's a pseudonym.
Mhm.
Okay.
So, which reminds me, as we move on to hearing from Danny Solis, is there a way for us to like put things up on the video, so on Zoom, so that people on YouTube, etc., can see things like Venmo accounts and stuff like that? Kurt?
Not that I'm aware of right now. I'm not prepared for that. I have audio and video mixers, plural here, but that was not part of tonight's plan, so I can't do it.
Okay,
But if you could, there's a way you could improvise. Could you type up something in Word, put it in a large font, and then when it's your turn to speak, you could share your screen through Zoom.
Yes.
So then it would be seen.
And Venmo. Before Danny starts here, I can tell everybody we have a nice audience right now on YouTube, and there's 12 people here on Zoom who are the open micers and features. But we usually when we do this for real, pass a hat for our main event feature. And since nobody's in the same room, Danny Solis does have a Venmo account, and I'll say it to everybody. But Danny, you can write it real nice and big on a piece of paper there. But it's Daniel Solis, SOLIS, at Daniel-Solis-79. So for those who want to pass the hat for Danny tonight, it's Daniel Solis, SOLIS, at Daniel-Solis-79. And we usually ask people to donate $5 a head at the Buzz Cafe if they can, and $3 if you can't. And it's just a way to support poetry as best we can. Anyway, I'm going to give it back to Nina. Molly had a question. You're muted, Molly.
Sorry, it was just Daniel Solis at Daniel-Solis-what?
79.
Which is probably Danny's. Oh, look, can you see it, everybody? Yes.
Okay.
Very good. Yeah, we have this idea that poets should be paid. And yeah, I know it's revolutionary. So, by the way, one other question for Kurt. Is there a way for our Facebook people to leave a name or write their names somewhere so that we can, like, comments or something?
Good question. Right now, this is going out on YouTube, so that might be a different medium, but I did announce it through Facebook as well. So people on Facebook, if they saw my feed or if they saw some of our other people's feeds, they are probably able to link into it and messages. They might, I would say the best way to get a message to you is to just IM you through Facebook. I mean, people know that you're Nina Corwin and Alda Geneva, and they can search for you and message you right there. you know, so.
And definitely let us know that you were here. Can leave a comment if you want on the invitation, and really are you know, this is working much better than I thought. I'm just a kind of a troglodyte when it comes to these kinds of things,
Well,
but sure enough.
You're doing fine, Nina, but also I gotta send a nod to Al, because he's running it more like a radio show, which is kind of how this has to go. We can't really sit around and take a 15-minute break in the middle of a streaming session. So hats off to you, Al, for doing this.
Kurt,
One
if you
quick
would,
question.
Kurt, if you would, you might be able to post the Venmo on the chat feature on YouTube.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right, I'll look for it and I'll put it on. I'll put it out there so maybe people can see in the video.
Okay.
Is this available on YouTube for people who did not watch it as it was live streaming?
Yes, I'm going to keep it up there for a while, and I'll post the link on the Molly's Traveling Molly's Facebook page.
That's great.
And Nina, let's bring up Danny.
Yeah, let's do that. So here we are. Joining us from Minnesota, Danny Solis is a poetry slam champion on multiple levels, including 8 city championships, 2 regional champions, Southwestern and Southeastern, 2 national championships, and 2 international championships, both team and individual. That is a whole lot of championships, my friends. Solis was one of 3 American poets chosen by the US State Department to go to Nepal and Botswana to perform, teach, and organize poetry slams with local artists. Solis has served as a poetry event organizer, MC, and curator, most recently as the director of the Day of the Dead Poets Slam. In 2005 in Albuquerque, New Mexico, Solis was the director of the National Poetry Slam, the largest performance poetry event in the world. So I can't wait. Danny Solis, so good to be able to see you and hear you.
Thank you, Nina. Thank you. I always forget that people will read my bio out loud as an introduction. And so I was wincing about 1 second into that. But yeah, you know, also I hate slam. Slam sucks. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's like Billy Jack, right? Where they say a war hero who hated the war. It's like a slam poet who hates the slam. But the woman who narrates, right? And Billy Jack, okay, never mind. All right. I just want to, first of all, say thank you, Nina. And thank you, Al, and thank you, Kurt, for the work that you do to organize this and bring it to everyone. Round of applause, please, for the organizers, the ones who set the stage. Thank you so much. And,
thank you, Danny.
It's really, of course, and it's really wonderful to be here and have this opportunity. And I told some people I was going on at 8:15, so I'm just going to talk for 6 minutes before my first poem. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, you could tell us why you hate the slam.
Well, I don't really hate it. I don't really hate the slam. I just think that it's problematic that a lot of people write specifically for the slam, which is something I never did. And I think if you're going to let what some imaginary judges might think of your work inform what you create, I think you're already skidding off the track a little bit, you know, right there. And I'm not saying that some people haven't written some good things with that sensibility in mind and that audience in mind, because they have. I'm just saying I think it's problematic. And I would say most especially for me, like I couldn't write that way. I think I would, you know, write terrible stuff, which I do anyway without even thinking that way. And hopefully I'm not going to be reading that stuff tonight. Hopefully I'll read, at least y'all will think that I'm reading some of the other stuff. But really, I just, that was an outstanding open mic, and some amazing work in just wordsmiths. And I want to thank Todd. And, you know, Todd, if you can get your Venmo up there somehow, or plug yourself, promote yourself, because I'm with Nina and her crew. I have this insane idea that poets and every other artist that goes to work should get paid for the work that they do. And it's one of the things that we do in the Rochester Art Ensemble. I know my friend McKay Bram is watching. Hi, McKay, and hi, Pippi, and hi, Frankie. Those are the little dogs that she's with right now. But McKay is also my co-founder and co-director of the Rochester Art Ensemble. And so both of us feel that artists should always get paid when they go to work, even if it's just an honorarium, even if it's just a few bucks. But you know what? I said yes before I knew whether or not I'd get paid for this gig, because I love y'all and I love Chicago and I love Chicago poetry. It's like my home, you know, it's one of my homes on earth. It's not even a home away from home. It is just another part of home for me on earth. And I feel so fortunate now that there are a few places on earth that I could call home, because there was a time when I felt like uprooted, you know, I felt like I was drifting. And so I'm back to bother everyone. You know, you're stuck with me for a while. So I'm going to start doing poems. And I want to say that I'm going to start with the first two poems I did for April, for the 30 for 30 this year. And I completed it this year for the first time ever. 23 was my record before. And I want to thank COVID-19 for keeping me in the house and helping me complete my first ever 30 for 30. Sun reels itself up, stolid sky shouldering clouds. Spectators, passers-by, beautiful, preoccupied. Black branches, upswept, wet net, hauling in spring's warm rains, and in return spilling blossoms and blossoms. I dreamt a fox bat last night. Fruit bat, fox bat, huge luminous eyes, twin moons, liquescent onyx orbs, pulling in, transforming and returning the available light. Amplified waves of particles cresting and ebbing as he slowly blinked. Shadow, light, shadow, light. Hanging upside down, he was in the yellow rose bush in my parents' yard, the house on Lemon Avenue, a bit player, backup singer, in this dream starring bat, black and brown, big as a beagle. As he opened his bright planets to consider me and the child by my side, now urgent and frightened that this bat was clearly considering us. Close enough to touch, solemn, full of portent, wonder, and wisdom. He pushed away from his cave of yellow roses, taking wing right towards us, dipping a bit, causing us to crouch and one of us to scream. Which one I couldn't tell, though I trust in most children to be braver than me. And we turned to watch as he looped slowly over the busy one-way street, catching wind, flapping slowly as he shook and stretched his hot machinery of flight. And he floated casually, skimming the treetops as they filled with shadow, down the hill towards Turtle Creek, green eddy, slow moving clop and thrum of frog and insect, claves and woodblock, sonic shimmer. And we stood silently, holding hands, watching him drift into deepening dusk. Thank you. Gonna keep right on going. This one is called Learn. And an astute gentleman heard it, and the first thing he said was, wow, Ralph Ellison. And I was like, not completely intended when written, but definitely in there. You'll see what I mean. Learn. Learn to become invisible. Learn to cultivate various forms and degrees of invisibility. Learn to feign joy or at least contentment. Learn the stillness of cryptic locomotion, the heart of which is filled with pistons and gears, crankshafts, pulleys, levers, and steam. Learn the stillness at the center of stillness. Learn to be pleasant and affable as you watch a friend be hanged or burned or slowly bled to death. Learn to walk backwards while bowing. Learn to walk backwards while bowing, while making soothing, fluttering motions of subservience with your hands. Learn to do these things while muttering endless streams of pleasant, improvised apologies. Learn to elicit laughter at your own expense. Learn the pratfall. Learn to make yourself small, smaller. Learn instant smallness. Learn to disappear in the shadow of a matchstick. Learn to construct and perform intricate operas in the background. Learn to be the background. Learn operatic silence. Learn the various dialects of ingratiation. Learn that they will keep changing. Learn to sense the beast before it appears. Learn its many forms. Learn the map of its teeth, the pink glisten of its gums. See the slivers of your ancestors lodged there. A rope of tendon, a flap of flesh. Learn the names and the hows. Memorize them with the language of your bones. Learn that there is no why that can be reconciled to reason. Learn to make what is yours, theirs, or not. Learn instead your own song, your own voice that is a mountain of light, song that is an ocean of songs, ocean that will flow over them even as they open their mouths to speak of their invincibility. Watch them disappear. Go back, find the match, find all the matches. Take by the hand everyone who learned to disappear in the match's shadow. Strike all the matches together. Learn the language of flames. Go, gather the memories of your ancestors. Take back their pieces from the broken beast. Hold them to you. Weep, weep, till your only breath is the breaking and shuddering of your sobs. Stitch this into your song. Rise up with the terrible beauty of your new voice. Arrive suddenly with a light that blinds them. Arrive suddenly with a song that breaks them. Learn that this is who you were, always. Learn that this is who you are, who you will always be. Learn that your song will illuminate the way for a multitude of dreams. Learn that you will have no place or need to hide. Learn that never again will you have to feign joy. Thank you, thank you. Is it getting dark? Is it getting kind of dark in here? So I
No.
got a light I can turn on.
No, you look good.
Oh, thank you. Thought you'd never notice. Okay, I got you know what? I actually have a set list that I check. So what am I doing? What am I doing? Yeah, this poem is another 30 for 30, and it really doesn't have a title, but I'm calling it, for the purpose of stuff, Dog and Crow. On our walk, cool dawn, casual sun stretching its muscles like an old cat. Black dog watches at the end of his leash, purple flowers push through patches of snow, ancient April conversations. A crow, no blacker than the dog, lights in our path, unhurriedly plucks a something from a puddle. Now, every molecule of dog is bent towards crow. Ancient dialogue, haggled bargain, meat and bone, paw push, wing off spot, quick snap, and dog chews what crow dropped. I stop and pull open puddle wet jaws, gray necrotic chunk extracted and tossed. The dog watches me calmly, instantly calculating the location of and distance to his stolen prize. The mathematics of weight and muscle and pulling, ancient and sure as sharks and mammoths, hunger and the hunt, summer and heartache. decides to let it go, knows he will be fed and watered this early morning. And as we turn up the driveway, we both glance up at the black blade of crow circling back. Thank you. Thank you. My son is sitting in the living room a few feet away from now. He stopped playing video games to come hear his old man do some poems. Hi, babe. I don't know. It's like a miracle. All right. Anybody ever have like a long distance crush that you never even tell the person about? Ever had one of those?
I don't have that much restraint, but
Yeah, not me. I've never had one of those. Anyway, this poem is called The Space Between. That's again the working title. Awake from another hot dream of you, heat that ravels and unfurls, blue arms of darkness. You are there, face close to mine, this dream that arches its back, green spine of summer, flowers, red, plums, salt, feline, pink, deep red, pink petals, petals pale violet, small, delicate tongues, nightingales, spin their diminutive wheels of song, and in the singing fling up dreams, like music a simmer, afloat through these azure wings that carry me into these oceans of deep trees. I will be no spear, no hammer, but a song on a breeze that finds you in the desert at dusk, a rising tumble of a melody from a place full of wonder and portent. Nothing that is wisdom would keep us apart, would stop this dizzy geometry, this hot peregrination of the one to make one. Nothing that is truth could come between bow and yearning strings, between caught breath and empty flute, between cupped hand and taut drum skin. And even in dreams, I see your face, your laugh, your mouth as it opens to mine. Garden of song, fields of music, ocean of song, sky full of music. Thank you. Thank you so much. This set is going pretty much just the way I planned it, which is weird. Usually there are changes at some point. All right, let's see here. Hang on. I can't believe I'm doing this whole reading off of a telephone. Oh boy. All right. Let's see. Okay, that's not it. Okay. Hey, Tegan. What? I'm doing the poem about you, buddy. Okay. All right. Max is our dog. Sorry. It's like right a Zoom work meeting. The dogs and the kids. I love the dog barking in the background, by the way. I mean, what a better prop. And there was a dog in the poem barking at coyotes. So the dog came a little early for its cue, but you know, you can rehearse that with the dog. Anyway, I'm calling this one Note to Self. He is 4.5, wonder of wonders, a real live boy. My son, stronger than he knows, bigger than the more coordinated 6-year-olds on the playground. While I, in my 50s now, feel reduced, littler, leaner than before. I wonder if there is a reciprocal mathematics at work. The bigger he gets, the smaller I become, so that according to some irrevocable equation, we will pass each other. On the growing, shrinking spectrum, he becoming ever bigger and stronger, while I continue my journey towards Rumpelstiltskin-osity, almost as though some crypto-biological process is at work, removing the muscle and bone from my frame and adding it to his. And this thought, while disturbing, still seems reasonable somehow. And of course, I would give anything to this shining boy, tumbling miracle, galloping cub, towering list of reasons for joy. I am sitting a bench with friends in the slanting New Mexican sunlight, watching our children cavort and sputter, frolic, bargain, and gamble. He's getting so big. And I think, yes, yes, he is. And I seem to be shrinking. They laugh at my honest response, which leads me to contemplate how life will be when he is 6'4" and I am 4'6". F that. A tiny withered fig of a man, haranguing the populace, more sure than ever that I am right about whatever is at hand, whatever is being discussed, whatever might be in a flux of emergency. And I see my future self looking up at my boy, him who once fit on a pillow, now well over 250 pounds, bearded, voice like a log drum. You know, it would be nice if he carried me when I got old and shrunken. But you know, in one of those baby Bjorn baby carrier things that you can strap onto your back, they chuckle. I imagine being high in the air on his broad back, carrot legs dangling, ornery as ever, getting into an argument with some guy in a gimme cap in line at the grocery store. Hey, mister, I see you got 15 items. This is the 12 items or less line. See the sign, tough guy? Me and gimme cap guy exchange unpleasantries till my son turns around to stare down at the guy in his silenced surprise. Hey, don't worry about it. My dad enjoys lively conversation. That's all. Despite these reassurances, gimme cap guy departs for another checkout line, and I hoot after him, run, fool, run, while my boy sighs. The children ramble up in a loose herd for water and snacks. Hey, son, I begin. When I'm a little old man, will you carry me around in a baby Bjorn backpack like an overgrown baby, you know, on walks and such? This is a question that gives everyone pause. My son has stopped, and his 4-year-old brow is concentration clenched. As his young brain whirs with the possibilities, people are now genuinely interested in the gestating answer. He inhales, focuses on me, and begins. No, he says, with his R's unfolding as W's. I'm going to carry you around in a suitcase. Barks with extravagant playground volume and energy. And then I'm going to take you up in an airplane and roll down the window and throw you out so you can show me what you got. Amidst the laughs, I very seriously contemplate his words. I know I couldn't blame him if he did just what he said, especially considering my penchant for making it seem that I am the one that can handle any situation. Why not put my attitude of uber competency to the test? And I make a mental note to myself. For future survival in old age, always wear a parachute. Thank you. Thank you. I've got one more poem. And, you know, hey, son, can you turn the light on? It's the shorter of the two chains, please. Thank you. So, hello, I'm back in the light now because it just suddenly got really dark. The last poem I'm gonna do, I wrote in sections, you know, and because there's so many poems in sections and we've all heard them and some are really good. And sometimes it's like, why did you feel the need to put that in sections? So I try to do something a little different with how I broke things up. So you'll hear, and at one point the sections go from numbers to colors and other things. So there's a lot in here. I wrote this probably, I don't know, a few weeks ago. I'm still working on it. Again, work in progress. And excuse me, I'm gonna take a drink of Diet Dr. Pepper for all you teetotalers out there. People that know me are gonna be surprised I'm not drinking a glass of wine or a beer. I'm just drinking Diet Dr. Pepper for now.
Good on you.
This is called Litany. Fragment 1. Welcome to a girl waking with a mouthful of blood. Prayer book of gritted sleep, fingers to lips, considering blood maps on fingertips. Ancient litany of loss and need and movement. Fragment 2. A woman remembers the girl in the blood, salt and metal, considers random absence of a tooth, tongue pushed into empty. Fragment 3. This is the map of darkness, of darknesses, sextant of shadows to navigate this absence of light, a packet of invisible tattoos and diagrams to be used accordingly. Fragment 11. Things have gone missing, gone in the normal tangle and crush of minutia, wave after wave of slowness. Oh, for the drama of leviathans, operatic combat and lavish exits. What endures is steadily caught between thumb and forefingers, a casual erosion, fluttering book, wings of forgetting and loss. Fragment 13. The woman sits on a balcony. Of course she does. She plays a conga. It is a fountain of brightness. She smokes a cigar. In the smoke, there are maps and hieroglyphs. She laughs at the idea that I could tell her story. Of course she does. Fragment 13. Ponder the woman again. All the maps are lost. There is a song that escapes memory. Fragment of shadow. Lluvia de sombras, sonrisa nublado, un baile pequeño, tambor azul, buscando momentos de agua verde, agua azul, agua pa'l sed de la alma, buscando milagros of laughter like bright flowers, garden of breaths caught and released, back into a river of possibilities. Fragment blue. On the edges of black, a persistent and encroaching blue. Blue bleed black and black to blue. Slow hands of dusk weaving the shadows down to the bright horizon. The black of the darkness, halo of blue, jagged outline of every smashed window, a mother's mouth flung wide to mourn. Sedimentary blue, foundational blue, intrinsic blue, generational blue, endemic blue, inherent blue, bone deep blue, integral molecular blue, a packet of as yet undiscovered blues to be used accordingly. Fragment green. Hear the green river, hear the wailing, hear the waiting, hear the hammering of blues, hear the flight of hope, hear the capture, hear the waiting, the cages, the mesh, the metal, the bars, the doors, the cages, the glass window veined with wire, the cages, hear the litany of escape, hear the strategies, rough sketches of hope, preliminary diagrams of sleight of hand, a moment of inattention, path to an opening, here a way to breathe, here the river, the blue dusk, the green river, let us cross together. Song fragment. The woman teaches fire breathing, each breath a lesson in burning, each lesson a song, each song a push back on that which would steal our breath, each breath a spell to cast up the darkness, blue-black magic, spinning darkness filled with stars to be used accordingly. Fragment of shard. And the grief closed around her like the fist of a giant, hideous, implacable. It did not know she was a shard of flame, sharpened on stone, whetted with water, taught in fire to cut, to burn through any darkness, all this time, all this time. Fragment of ancient machinery forgotten till just now. Pulleys and levers and bones, bulbs and switches and blood, wires and bamboo and hope, uncut stone full of dreams, the gathered materials of deconstruction, all the great lessons, comprehension of the complex necessarily unavoidable to come here, at the ends of all the available maps, on the shore, right here, and all these children chanting, we are here, we are here. We have learned the lesson you suffered so much to teach us. You were taught to make fire. We are the flames themselves. Look what you have wrought. This was the destination of the blood hieroglyphs on fingertips in the middle of all those nights. It was a map to here, right here. We will not let you squander us.
Oh,
Thank you, everyone.
Danny, that last one was just gorgeous.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, really, really, thank you. That was a great reading.
Yeah.
Thanks very much. If you know, I would like to, if it's okay. I know I'm not the MC of the show, but were we supposed to go to 9?
Well,
not
we
gonna-
go until we're done, but
Oh,
that's
done.
fine.
I was just going to say, if anybody wants to ask a question or make a comment of me, you know, whatever, I would happily answer a question. Oh, and I want to say to Bob, thank you for being so kind to me and talking about my good looks, such as they are. I think you're a little skewed in your perceptions, but it's a deal with the devil, dude. If Lin Manuel Miranda were ever, and I haven't even seen Hamilton, I'm just going to admit it. But
You're the one who hasn't.
I'm the
Keep it that way.
yeah, I'm sorry.
Actually, you know, we did that kind of question and answer thing maybe last time or the time before. And yeah, I would definitely say if anybody has questions for either Danny or Todd, let's hear them.
I have a question for Danny. I would like to know what your son thinks about that poem.
He's right here.
Which one?
The one about him, right?
What about him?
Excuse me, I'm like belching into the mic. But the poem about you, the backpack poem.
Oh, I think I thought it was great. I thought it was great.
He likes it. He also said that he was a great child. I mean, he's still a child. He's 12.
No, I'm
No child now.
Well, he's a child to me.
scarred.
Of course. Of course.
Right. Well, yeah. You
I
were
want
great.
to not ask a question, but just acknowledge our YouTube audience. And there's about 25, 30 people watching. And so because we're doing this on Zoom, they could try to ask a question, but there's a bit of a delay. So if anybody who's watching on YouTube might have a question, put it in the chat because I can see it, and maybe then there'd be a few second delay, but I might be able to relay that over to Danny while we're here. So I just want to say that, and let's go back to our Zoom group.
Or Todd, I have a question. But also if Kurt, if you could make sure all my friends on MySpace are tuning in and are able to. No, I'm kidding.
MySpace? How? Oh my God.
I'm kidding.
It was only the 3rd social network I'd ever been part of.
Oh my God. Okay. No, I was
Okay,
kidding.
Danny.
I can't get you to MySpace, my good friend, but you know, we'll do what we can.
Danny, we have a commenter request from Susan Cossette. And she says, Danny, please tell the group about that movie I found by accident.
Oh, which movie was it? I don't remember, Susan.
She said the one that featured you. I don't know if she's talking about Slam Nation or not.
It could be Slam Nation. There's another one called Committing Poetry in Times of War that was made in Albuquerque when there was a gentleman named Bill Nevins who was fired for letting his students write and perform slam poetry at the school. One time a young woman read a poem during the morning announcements at this high school in Albuquerque that, you know, said some disparaging things about the United States, right? And the presence of injustice. And like the principal and those, like his cronies flipped out, and they called Bill into the office and said, no more slam poetry. And Bill was like, well, screw you, I'm going to keep doing slam poetry. And they were like, you're fired, get out. And so anyway, it's called Committing Poetry in Times of War. And I hope that's the one that Susan was talking about, because I've been talking about it for like 20 minutes now. So anyway, yeah. And you know, if any of the people, I've got great friends in each universe, stuff like this, and I'm so happy. Thank you, friends. If any of them have a question for me, you know, you can Facebook message me or text me. You can call me. I got my phone right here because, you know, it can't be more than inches away from me at any given moment. But hey, I have a
Well,
question
you
for
know,
Todd. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I actually have a question for both Todd and yourself. I just want to, you know, you've both been around for a couple of years and you've been writing for decades. And I was wondering if each of you might characterize how your writing has changed over that period of time. And I'm going to ask Todd first. Besides not writing any Judah poems, or maybe.
How is it? I I don't know. No, it's a poet I really admired when I was younger. You know, I was concerned because I wasn't writing so many poems as when I was in his class, and he said, "Well, don't worry. As you get older, you'll write fewer poems, but they'll be longer." And then he kind of laughed, and I get the joke now. But I think my poetry has gotten a lot more introspective and looks a lot more at the past rather than the present, which I guess is just the reflection of middle age.
Well, actually, you know, I was thinking about that, was that seems like you had a real connection to your adolescence or early adulthood that was showing up here.
I mean, if that's your way of saying I never emotionally matured, then yeah.
Well, no, I think because you weren't writing as many of those as in the past, I would think it maybe more regression than fixation.
Okay. If you're just going to analyze me, that's cool.
Yeah, no. Well, I guess I just did.
Do I owe you anything for that?
You just paid by reading.
Oh, okay.
Your reading was the payment for your examination.
All right. I've finally made money off this.
I'm sorry, were you done, Todd?
No, go ahead.
Yeah, that's all I got.
All right, buddy. I really, I don't know. I mean, I would hope that I would learn more about specificity and little things, and you know, because I think sometimes when you're younger, you really, or well, you know, for me anyway, I don't know, tend to want to write about great big things, you know, issues and you know, big loves and the thunder and the ocean, and you know, I try to write haiku, and it is really difficult to capture what you're trying to write about in a haiku, and not because it's short, just because, you know, the spirit of haiku, I mean, to write them well is really, really difficult. And I realize it's a lifelong pursuit, right? And you may write 1,000 and one may be good, but I would hope that there would be more quiet moments and more just consideration of the really fine details of this life that we've been given, this world that we've been gifted. That's what I would hope. I don't know how close I am to getting there, you know, but I write a lot, you know, not as much as I did like at one point, but much more than like the years in between. Like there was a time in the early 90s when I was just writing all the time and just filling up notebooks. And now I did 30 for 30 and I write, I'm working on a novel, and it's, I got some other ideas. I got like a list of ideas for novels. So I'm sorry, does that answer your question?
It sure does. Sure does. Anybody else?
I was looking at the chat feed on YouTube, and I noticed Richard Cambridge sends his best to Annie. So there's greetings. Shout out to our friends in Boston or New England.
Yes.
Good to know that they're tuning in. And I'm just, whenever anybody's ready, I think I can flash the Venmo account on screen. Just give me a high sign, and I'll do it.
Hi.
Well, I think if that's it for the night, I want to thank all the people who are in our open mic, and Danny and Todd, excellent job.
Thank you very much.
For everybody who's still with us on YouTube, just hang in there a second, and there it is.
Wow.
That's how we're passing the hat
Fantastic.
virtually. So again, thank you all.
So, but I do want to add, oh, were you going to say something, Danny?
No, I was going to say thank you.
And
Yeah.
I was going to say thank you too.
Well, you know, I do want to add that if you want to keep up with our goings on, you know, like us at Traveling Molly's reading series, is that what we have it? On Facebook, and again, leave comments for us there. I guess they can leave comments or their names in the chat thing for YouTube. Is that right?
Yeah, yes, that's true.
Great.
It's exactly what they're doing right now. So.
That's great. Anything else that anybody wanted to share in TV land? Yeah, Molly.
Hey, I just wanted to say thanks to Todd and Danny for reading. Danny, I really loved, and I would like to see in print, maybe I want to kind of think about it some more, the poem where there's kind of this long imperative voice, learn this, to be smaller, to be invisible. And then there were just two words that it kind of turned on, or not. And I was like, oh, Danny's gonna this will be the answer to everything, how to, I don't know, not do that, not expect it, not make people do it, you know, I mean, so it was kind of amazing, and I want to go back to it and kind of keep company with it for a while.
Yeah, I would like to see a lot of your stuff written also. I want to see it on the page also.
Yeah.
Thank you. You know, yeah, I just friend me, you know, here's my thing. I'm old and I tried to do Snapchat or whatever it's called. Or what's the other? Instagram?
Yeah.
Instagram. And it's like, it's like, you know, 100-year-old person getting lost in the mall. So,
yeah.
If you want to friend me on Facebook,
okay.
I would be happy to, you know, either, you know, get your email and share it, because I use the Google Docs these days, so I could share it, or I could just email you a copy, or, you know, I really am very open to sharing my writing and work with people, and I can always use tips or, you know, critique or anything. I was teaching a high school class, and they saw that poem Learn, and they had notes for me. They were like,
oh wow.
Yeah, they were like, well, have you thought about your line breaks, and what about indentation? And I was like, I was literally writing stuff down, because I'm not, I try not to be too egotistical about that, just, you know. So yeah, I could, yeah, if you want to look at it, you know, sure.
Great.
Give me the notes, and I'll pay you in, you know, psychological examination.
Okay, good. Totally fair. I'm in. But yeah, I loved the poem about, it had the color blue, kind of the repetition about blue in it also. The color is so hard to write about and hard not to write about, and that just was so right. It was so good. I loved it. So thanks.
Thank you.
So
amazing work.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. Todd, Danny, and if you want to participate in our open mics in future, follow the, you know, wherever we are listed, but primarily our Facebook page, or give us your email, because we actually send out a, is it constant?
It's MailChimp, actually.
Okay.
And we're the Traveling Mollies on Facebook. So.
And it's Monday, second Monday of the month at 7 o'clock Central Time.
Yeah, and nobody needs to be on Facebook or anywhere. As long as you reach out to Molly's with your contact info, we can get you the link so you can get in and either see it on YouTube or join us here with the open mic on Zoom.
Okay. Well, thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much for having us.
Okay.
You're the man,
See
Kurt
ya.
Heinz.
Take care, man. Good to see you, if only virtually.
I love you. Yeah.
Love you too, buddy.
Thanks.
So great
Good to have you around.
both of you, Todd and
Bye-bye.
yeah.
See you later.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, Alan, Kurt, if you stay on, just so that we can debrief a tiny bit.
Well, except that Kurt has to stop the live stream.
Yes, the video has to stop out there somehow. And I need to work on that, but I wanted to get that little screen up as a farewell shot. Let's see if we do that. Okay, we're back.
Fun.
Now, stop the stream. Can I stop the stream?
I don't know what I've done. I'm still on here somehow. I don't know what the heck I've even done. I'm like,
I think it stopped.
All right then. Good night. Good
All
night.
right, if I log out of the Al account, maybe that'll help me clear it too. And go to my stream and say